Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video, and today we are back at it with the Road to 100 12-win Classic Challenges with Expo series. Now I know I haven't uploaded many videos recently and I wanted to apologize for that. I've been pretty busy, as you may or may not have seen my latest community posts, and I also haven't been doing the best personally, so it's been a bit of a bad streak for me. That being said, I'm doing a little better now and I'm pretty excited to be continuing the series. So we are currently at 29 out of 100 Classic Challenges won. And as you can see, I'm currently 8-0 in a Classic Challenge right now. As I mentioned in the last episode, I wanted to diversify the Expo decks I was using in this series to kind of spice it up and make things more fun and dynamic. So that brings me right into the deck for this video, which will be Classic Aispo with Mega Minion. This deck was very popular in 2019. You might remember Carnage, a professional player who piloted this exact deck to amazing success. He had incredible achievements and inspired many Expo players, including myself. So for the deck itself, it's basically a faster cycle version of modern Aispo that uses Tesla. On the note of Tesla, it was unfortunately nerfed in the most recent balance changes, which was a big hit to Expo players all around. I do think that it's still viable after the 5-second lifetime nerf, but I'd say the change was definitely noticeable, and it will be considerably more difficult for Expo to maintain the same level of success that it has in the past. Our deck doesn't have Tesla, so I guess it's unaffected by the nerf, which is a good thing. Though I'd say any Expo deck without Tesla is pretty high skill to begin with, and it'll probably be pretty hard to have success with this deck unless it's played very well. So we do have the Tornado to enable some nice King Tower activations, which will supplement defense for the rest of the match against many matchups. We do also have a faster cycle than traditional Aispo, which is something to keep in mind since we also have the alternate win condition of the Rocket here. We are running the Ice Golem instead of the traditional Knight, so we will really be relying on the rest of our defensive core for DPS, since Ice Golem can't attack back the same way that a Knight can. With all that out of the way, let's get right into the matches and do our best to get 12 wins in this Classic Challenge. So, queuing for the first match might take a while. Classic Challenge queue time has been pretty bad for me recently. I'm not sure if it has been for anyone else, but I might even have to cut until we get our first match, depending on how long it takes here. Wow, that is a long time. Okay, we finally got one against what looks to be a Chinese player. We have Ice Golem, Mega Minion, Log, and Expo in our starting hand. I think, as with most Expo decks, we want to be playing this pretty passively to begin with until we find out what our opponent has. He's going to go with an Ice Spirit Goblin Barrel, which means most likely going to be classic Log Bait. Those are the decks that you see those two cards in the most, I would say. That is the deck. Now, it does depend on if he has Inferno Tower or Tesla. He went with a very aggressive Rocket on our Ice Wizard there. I'm going to go with an Expo and Mega Minion to predict the Inferno Tower. We get a connection, which is pretty good. I'm going to hover my Log for his Goblin Gang, which he's going to play, so perfect. We get a huge connection. Because of our opponent's extremely aggressive Rocket, I don't know why he was making that play though. I guess I would have rocketed his Princess if I had it in cycle, but I think that was just very aggressive overall, and I wouldn't have made that play if I were him. It got him punished quite heavily, so not complaining about that. We're going to go with an Expo again, since he's not going to have Inferno Tower in cycle. He's most likely going to have to rocket this one. And so I'm very happy to get that forced out. As you can see, he just went Knight and Rocket, which is a 9 for 6 trade, which is +3 in our favor. I'm going to kite this Knight back with the Ice Golem, which will hopefully splash on the tower, as it does, so that's nice. He goes for Princess at the bridge. Another nice thing about this deck, against Log Bait, we have the Mega Minion, which can just straight up snipe and one-shot the Princess, so that's pretty cool. We're going to cycle Ice Wizard in the back, and I think set up for another Expo push. And wait if he's going to Goblin Barrel. Looks like he's not, so we're going to go with Expo, and he actually looks like he predicted our Expo, but that Inferno Tower might be out of range, which is pretty unlucky for our opponent. He's going to rocket now. I think we're just going to rocket back. We might take 1 or 2 Knight hits in the left here, but since it's our higher HP tower, we're okay with that anyway. And we can just Mega Minion for his Princess at the bridge. No questions asked, just easily take care of it. And we are actually almost in rocket range of cycling our opponent. I think we are actually just going to defensive Expo now since we don't really need to go offensive. He's going to rocket our tower. We're just going to rocket back. He's going to need a lot more than just that to come back in this match. We're going to cycle our skeletons just to get back to our log, since he's probably going to Goblin Barrel. And we're going to get back to Expo and play, since we have a defensive Expo surviving. So it'll help out. He's going to pretty much be forced to rocket here. And when he does, we can just rocket back. Well, we're going to focus on defense first. Mega Minion and Princess. He's going to defend it. Well played. We can activate King. Not that it's going to be a huge deal in this match, since it's pretty much over. I think that is going to be Rocket Log range. Or if not, it's going to be Rocket Log Tornado range, definitely. Alright, so it was Rocket Log range. So pretty nice first match against Logbait. I think this Icebo deck, Classic Icebo, does actually have a pretty decent matchup against Logbait. Logbait usually counters both 3.0 Expo Cycle and Icebo with the new meta version with Tesla, but this one is just faster cycle overall, and I think Mega Minion is pretty cool as well against the Princess and Inferno Tower. But we basically punished him for his very aggressive rocket and single, and we got a nice win there, so let's keep it going. Look for our next match, as we find it against Alcoholism. Not a habit I would recommend anyone get into. He's going to go for Wall Breakers first play. Unfortunately, we don't have log or anything in cycle for the right, so we're just going to have to take that. Didn't really want to spend a lot, as he's going to have minor Wall Breakers. So we're going to go with an Expo here, since we have an Ice Wizard supporting. He's going to go Magic Archer. So it's looking like it's going to be the version with Valkyrie. Okay, never mind. It's going to be Knight, but still, I think he doesn't have a big spell. We clipped one of the spears, and he's going to go Wall Breakers, so that was okay. I think both of them will die to the Expo. And we found out, so he's going to have minor Wall Breakers, Magic Archer, Knight. I don't believe this version has a big spell. It usually has Tornado Log, although I could be mistaken. Sometimes I see them using Fireball, I guess, but usually no. We are going to want to try and activate King off his minor if we can. We're going to rocket that Magic Archer, I think. Not really trying to mess around with Magic Archer. Although we do have to be careful of the Wall Breakers. He's going to go minor Log. We're going to Tornado that and activate King immediately. So pretty nice to have activated King pretty early on in the match. Should help us out against future minors and even sometimes Wall Breakers. I don't think I want to go in here. He's going to go Spears. I'm going to use Ice Golem as opposed to Log, since I want to save Log for Wall Breakers. Ice Golem can defend against Wall Breakers, but it against Spear Goblins, but it can't defend against the Wall Breakers. We're going to go Expo and Mega Minion. Well played by our opponent playing that low bomb tower. We're going to get Log ready for his Wall Breakers, which should get taken out. And then we're going to go Ice Golem to kite the Knight out of range, which is a play that I like to make quite a lot. Kiting something into this zone of the map, which is actually undetectable by an Expo, if you see by its range here. So that's a play I like to make quite a bit. But we get a bit of damage in the left. We're going to rocket. He's giving us rocket value in his lower health tower, which I don't think makes too much sense. And I think we're going to defensive Expo. As I mentioned, this deck shouldn't have a big spell, so I don't think our opponent's going to have a response to this. Yeah, he pretty much just goes minor Log, and he might try and Magic Archer again on our Expo now. He goes for a Magic Archer like that. Well played protecting his Magic Archer. We're going to go Ice Wizard, Mega Minion, and then I think Tornado back. We don't want to take any Magic Archer or Wall Breaker damage on a tower. We're going to go with an Expo now, since we have a surviving Ice Golem and Mega Minion, so pretty nice counter push supporting. We're going to go Ice Golem, Ice Wizard. Unfortunately, we don't have the Tesla. The DPS of the Tesla is pretty much, would be really helpful against this right now, but we are able to log, get pretty nice log value, and get a nice Expo connection. We're going to go with an Expo on the left, since our opponent might predict us to go on the right. He did. We're going to just Tornado these Wall Breakers, and I think let it go on the left. We're going to go Mega Minion for the minor, Ice Golem for the Spear Goblins, and we have to be careful of a Magic Archer now, which is why I played my Skeletons like that to predict. So a pretty good prediction. He's going to NATO back, which is actually a pretty good play as well, since it will get him 7 hits on our tower. We're gonna go Mega Minion and log last second to try and get a connection, as we do, so great. We are not, unfortunately, in rocket range. Actually, that should be rocket log range, if I'm not mistaken. We're gonna Ice Wizard, predicting his Magic Archer. We're gonna NATO his Magic Archer back as well to make sure it doesn't hit our tower, and then log to finish off. So good game. Pretty interesting match. That version. Usually I see that deck has Valkyrie as well instead of Knight, so pretty interesting there. But we got a pretty nice win. Activated King, again, as I mentioned early on, helped a lot. And also him not having a big spell let us set up a defensive Expo to kind of get momentum in our favor. And from there we just pretty much counter pushed off of our defenses. But 2 pretty nice games to start it out. 2 more wins to go for the 12 win. Let's keep it going and do our best. We're against Massive from Persia Land. Ice Golem, Mega Minion, Log in hand. I think I am going to cycle Log. We might need the Ice Golem to tank for something, or we especially might need the Mega Minion for DPS, so I don't really want to cycle either of them right away. Just going to Ice Golem in the left as he goes Bats and Prince. So the 2 decks that I see these cards in, one is kind of an old, dead Golem clone deck. I'm really hoping it's not that, even though we technically have Ice, but we don't have Tesla. So I'm hoping it's not going to be Golem clone, but it could also be some kind of bait deck, like Mega Knight bait, or usually I just see Mega Knight Skeleton Barrel, and it is actually going to be Mega Knight. So we're going to try and get back to Ice Golem to tank and kite this Mega Knight across the map. Then we can go with an Ice Wizard. He's going to go Wall Breakers. Unfortunately, we don't have anything we can do about that, so we're just going to let it go. Take the Wall Breaker damage and NATO the Miner to King. Again, activated King, going to help out a lot. And we're going to Expo with this Ice Wizard since it's going to be supporting. He's going to go Goblins, which means we get pretty nice log value. And I'm going to hover Ice Golem since I think he's going to go Bats. I had a feeling, so we get pretty nice Ice Golem value there, taking out the Bats and tanking for the Prince. And we get an Expo connection on tower. He goes Miner. I played my Skeletons. He's going to go Zap as well, which I think is an overcommitment since the Expo is basically dead. I do want to Expo right now, but I'm scared that he's going to be able to Mega Knight in time since Expo is not immediately in cycle. So I think we're just going to have to reset here. This deck is, unfortunately, it has a bit of an awkward cycle since we don't have Tesla. I like to pre-Tesla. Okay, and looks like he just missed a Prince, which is pretty interesting. We're going to go Mega Minion to snipe the Musketeer, which is another pretty nice perk of Mega Minion. Getting to snipe stuff across the bridge like that. Protect our Expo and pretty much take tower. He's going to go with Minor Wall Breakers. I didn't need to do anything else for those Wall Breakers except for Log, even though it was tanked for the tower by the Miner because of our Expo. So that was pretty cool of our Expo to help out. We're going to go Ice Golem to kite this Prince across, and then Mega Minion just to DPS it down. He's going to go for Wall Breakers. Skeletons should just deal with those by themselves, as they do. And we don't need to go aggressive anymore, only 20 seconds left. We can just set up with a defensive Expo, and we're pretty much good to go. So this... And he goes for a Musketeer in range of our Expo. So our opponent not playing the best here. But we're not going to complain. We got a pretty nice connection in single with a counter push, and we were pretty set after that. Again, there was this one point where he had Minor Wall Breakers tanked for by the Mega Minion, and I didn't try and overspend on the Wall Breakers since sometimes you have to just let those situations go. If there's Wall Breakers and you don't have anything in hand, it's best to just take them and not overcommit, because you'll probably still take damage anyway, if you know what I'm saying. So, pretty nice game there. Important to recognize the situations. Looks like the activated King has helped us out in both of these matchups so far. 2 minor matchups, so pretty helpful to have the Tornado there. This first game not as applicable since it was kind of decided in single, but either way, pretty nice game so far. We're 11-0. Let's try and get one more for the Queen 12-0, which will be pretty nice to get. So we're against a Japanese player from the clan Banana Fist. Gonna give him the good luck, since he's probably at 11 wins as well. If he beats us, he will probably get a 12 win of his own. Now he's not cycling anything, which means it could be a heavier deck, like a beatdown deck. He's going to go Zappies. This does not look good, to be honest. This is... When I see Zappies, I'm thinking it's going to be maybe Recruits, Royal Hogs. And that is a deck that I'm very scared of playing with this deck, and it is unfortunately going to be Recruits. So we don't have the Tesla, which I think is pretty huge. We don't have anything to kite the Royal Hogs. We do have Mega Minion for his Flying Machine, which is pretty cool. But other than that, I think this isn't going to be the best matchup for our deck, if I had to be honest. We're going to Expo since we have these Ice Golem and Mega Minion kind of counter-pushing, I guess. Not really, since he didn't really do much except for Recruits, but we get a connection, surprisingly. We're going to go low Ice Wizard. Unfortunately, it doesn't target the Flying Machine, I guess because it was all the way in the right, so that's kind of my fault, but we're pretty even in damage. My opponent hasn't played his Royal Hogs yet, so not sure if he's going to. I'm going to play my Log, since I can probably get back to another one when he goes for his Recruits. And I think I'm just going to have to rocket the Royal Hogs when they come down. And I'm also going to try and activate King Tower, since that is going to be pretty huge in this matchup, I think. But not feeling too great about the matchup. We're going to Ice Wizard in the back. He might Fireball. Actually, I don't think he's back to Fireball, so we could also try and lean on defensive expos. I'm going to try and rocket that Flying Machine. We gotta need all the damage we can get, especially against this deck, although I might get punished pretty heavily for that. Looks like, no, our opponent's just going to play pretty passively, so there's the Royal Hogs. We're going to try and do this, so we're going to Log, wait till they settle on the tower, and then try and Tornado, summon the King. We get a King activation, although unfortunately we still take a bunch of damage, so not the greatest situation for us. We are going to defensive expo, I think, although I don't want to do it right away since, yep, our opponent's probably going to Fireball or Ice Wizard, so just going to wait for that, and then defensive expo. We don't have a Tesla, again, like I said, but we can kind of try and defend with defensive expos. I'm going to rocket those Recruits, which is probably a pretty big overcommitment, but I do need all the damage I can get, and I don't see any other ways of getting damage, so I'm going to do that. We're going to Ice Golem to tank for the Flying Machine. Skeletons to kite these Recruits over that are in the right. He's going to go for a Fireball, so I think we're going to just Tornado this Flying Machine into our Mega Minion, and that actually worked out pretty nicely, so we kind of want to be careful. I don't want to cycle Ice Wizard. I really want Ice Wizards in the left lane, but I'm scared of our opponent just getting free Fireball value from it. Now, this is one thing that I do like. We can just go Mega Minion on the Flying Machine, and it'll get taken care of. And Activated King actually helping out quite a lot here. I think I'm just going to Rocket Tower and try and get back to a second rocket, if possible. We do have to be careful of him setting up a push, but we're actually back to rocket, so I'm honestly surprised we were able to win that. I don't think this is a good matchup still, although maybe it's not as bad as I thought. We're going to give him the well played back, and good luck. So it looks like he was pretty impressed with how he played it. I think we did play it pretty well, to be honest. We beat a deck that has Royal Hogs newly buffed as well, by the way. The buffed Royal Hogs, 6% damage buff, which is just insane. I think Supercell didn't really do the right thing with buffing these Royal Hogs. They were kind of struggling in the previous meta because of the Dark Prince and Valkyrie being everywhere, but that was mostly because of the drill, which kind of forced out those cards as support cards, which in turn made the Royal Hogs bad. But I don't think that necessarily means Royal Hogs needed a buff to compete. I think it just meant that the meta needed to be addressed, and then those use rates would go down and Royal Hogs would be better in the meta. But what can I say? They got buffed anyways. Not much we can do about it. But yeah, this is kind of the new deck. One of my friends, Zafkiel, made this deck, I think. I mean, it's a pretty classic. You all know this Recruits Goblin Cage Royal Hogs deck, whether you love it or hate it. You probably know it, but I know Zaf's been subbing arrows in. Looks like he had arrows instead of E-Spirit or Mother Witch, which is usually what I see in that slot. I also see some people replacing Barbell for arrows, but either way, I guess another good thing about our deck, Arrows, doesn't really get much value at all against it. It's kind of a card that is really annoying for Expo Cycle, since we have Archers in that deck usually, but with Ice-Bow, this version, and even traditional Ice-Bow with Tesla, there isn't really anything that Arrows gets value against, so that's one saving grace of it, I guess. But I'm honestly pretty proud of how we played that. Pretty nice win against Recruits for the 12 win, and we get a nice 12-0. So let's open our chests. We get gold, 2,000 gold, and I honestly think classics aren't that bad of a way to get progression and get cards and gold for your account. They are about 1/10 the rewards of a grand challenge, I think even less. I think it's like 90%, like if you win 100 classic challenges, it'll be equivalent to 9 grand challenges worth, I think, but either way, it's still a pretty nice way of getting rewards. And you'll notice that I have these 2 11 wins here because I wanted to kind of practice a bit before recording the video, so I didn't want to get the 12 win, so I kind of just threw at 11 wins since I didn't want to get the 30th win. But on that note, that is our 30th 12 win, so that is going to be 30% of the way to our goal of 112 win classics, and that is pretty cool. Again, pretty proud of how we played these games. Nice win against Recruits, nice win against Mega Knight Wallbreakers, nice win against Minor Wallbreakers, and a pretty nice win against Logbait, even though I would have liked to play it out when our opponent didn't mess up in single. Would have been interesting to see how it played out, but pretty nice games. I'm actually going to share this one since I'm pretty proud of it. But yeah, that is going to be the video, guys. Let me know what you thought of me continuing the series. Again, like I said, I'm trying to diversify into different Expo decks, so always feel free to let me know your suggestions for other Expo decks to use. I might use 2.9 since it's the classic, and it's always nice to play 2.9, even though I think it's really hard to play in the meta, especially with the Tesla nerf. I think 2.9 relied pretty heavily on Tesla and Archers, and Tesla was hit pretty hard. 3.0 at least has the Knight to rely on, which is another source of DPS, but yeah, we could try 2.9, we could try Muskbow, which I saw was another suggestion someone left, so I'll probably try Muskbow in the next video. 3.1 Expo Cycle. There is also Muskbow with Rocket, which looks kind of like this. There's also just Expo with Rocket, with Archers. There's a lot of Expo variants out there. But yeah, let me know your suggestions, let me know what you thought about the video. Hope you enjoyed. Take care, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.